This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNN Live, and we're here at the 2016 Markham Microcap Conference in New York City. With me right now is Mike DiGilio from Village Farms International. I got two symbols for you. First one is VFF on the TSX, and then on the OTCQX, it's VFFIF. Mike, welcome to SNN Live.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well, and thank you for coming on. So, for our audience, let's first start off with an overview of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Village Farms, we started about almost 30 years ago. We're actually the oldest and largest U.S. greenhouse company that produces vegetables in a controlled environment here in the United States. And we grow currently peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, eggplants. And again, it's all indoors and in a very sustainable method.
All right, so first thing, before we get into the technology aspect, the hydroponics and all of that, I want to know a little bit about the history of the company. You know, how did it start, where did it come from, and how did you get involved?
Well, I was in the greenhouse business as a on the supply side, actually, to the industry representing technologies out of Europe. And back in the 80s, the only tomato you can get, other than in August in your backyard, was a gas green tomato grown in the field. And there was a real demand to having sort of that backyard flavor all year long. And I'd seen the technology in the Netherlands, which is sort of the mecca, or was the mecca of greenhouse growing at one time. And the Dutch started actually exporting via air freight greenhouse grown tomatoes to New York and Boston. And there was a real opportunity to duplicate that process and produce it right here in the USA.
And how'd you get involved?
Well, I was in the Navy. I was a Navy pilot, and when I got out, I didn't want to be an airline pilot, so I was looking for an industry to get in, and long story short, somehow through faith, I wound up getting in the agriculture and farming business. That's a whole long story.
We'll do that in another interview.
Sure.
That'll be, But anyway, so let's get to the actual technology and the agriculture and everything involved itself. So one thing that we all know is that the world's population is exponentially growing larger and larger. You know, one thing I've always heard about hydroponics is that it could be a potential solution, potentially, as something to grow our food more sustainably. So how is it what you've developed maybe helping solve some of those potential issues?
Well, absolutely, and it's not just what we develop, but the industry. And if I segment the industry as a controlled agriculture industry, the hydroponic growing is one method of growing within a controlled environment. And you're absolutely right. Another 2 billion people on the planet by 2050, and with the same amount of water, most of it already contaminated fresh water. Technology has to rule. We have to be able to produce large amounts of yield of food output with the same amount of resources, like water. And we can produce products like tomatoes with 18% the amount of water as a field grower. We're very sustainable. We don't leachate any nutrients into the ground. We don't use any chemicals. All our water is recycled. So it's a very sustainable form of growing, and that's really going to be the future of many crops in the future, as well as being able to employ labor full-time as opposed to migrant labor or seasonal labor in the field.
So another key point when it comes to sustainability is also, health and wellness and, the key phrase being, organic. So how does your vegetables that you grow different from, let's say, when someone says, I have an organic farm?
Well, I'm absolutely convinced that what we do is we put a product that's better than organics out because we can grow it sustainable. And resource allocation and preserving resources is fundamental for future generations. That's, in fact, my definition of sustainability, is keeping our planet clean. Now, knock on wood, and it's really not luck, but because in a greenhouse we're in a much more hygienic environment, we don't use manure in our processes. We've never had a foodborne illness to this day, and I think the process has a lot to do with that. And there's 3,000 people in the U.S. who die a year from food pathogens. 188,000 are hospitalized. So there's real concerns, and people becoming somewhat anemic to what's going on. So I think another benefit of controlled ag is the cleanliness that we grow our crops in.
And just real quick, one last thing is, are you using GMOs to grow this product?
No, we don't use any GMOs, and I think that would be the alignment with the perception of organic. All our products are bred traditional, conventional ways, and we indicate that on all our packaging today.
Okay, Mike, so I want to get to the business side of things now. And what I want to know is, of course, I buy my groceries. Are you available in supermarkets nationwide?
Yes, we are. Throughout Canada and the U.S., we sell most grocers, not all, but most, and as well as in food service applications as well, restaurants and other types of conduits.
So I'm going to ask a little bit of an outside-of-the-box question, and it's going to be somewhat of a challenge, but I know you're up to the task. Sure. And what I want to know is, in your typical farming, there's always issues and problems that come up. So what are some typical challenges that you face on maybe a daily or yearly basis that you have controls to then protect the company?
Well, I mean, even though we grow indoors and we control all parameters, heating, cooling, CO2, humidity, it's still farming. And what I mean by that is we have a biological product, a plant that's producing our output. And plants, believe it or not, are like people. They can get stressed out, so we have to keep them in balance, but yet we have to drive them for productivity. And sometimes that can be a challenge. The other thing is labor. Labor is a big issue in the U.S., and we have to have programs and motivate our people. We're very much in tune in keeping our people. All our people are full-time employees, and even though we're a farming operation, we're very proud of the fact that they all have medical, dental, 401k contribution, year-round employment. They make a very good wage, and in fact, we have second generations joining our company now, so we're really proud of that.
And another question I got to know is, what are some of the growth drivers for the business? How are you marketing your vegetables to various groceries around the country?
Well, we are a totally vertically integrated company. So from the design of greenhouses, building them, and these assets are $1 to $2 million an acre. So, for instance, we have 240 acres that we own. That's a huge capital investment. We grow the products, we package it, and we market and sell it. The entire fulfillment is done by us to the food chains. And that's very prudent. We've been able to collapse all middlemen, so to speak, in the process, so we can deliver the freshest product at the lowest cost to our customers every day.
And where are some of them located?
From Florida to Texas, California, all through Canada. We have nearly every state in the country you can find Village Farms products, and we're pretty proud of that today.
I was just going to say, because that would now mean that most of these groceries are able to say we have locally grown products that we sell.
That's correct. So we produce in Texas, for example, we produce 99% of all the tomatoes grown in Texas. So we're very proud of that. Texas is not a outdoor environment that can grow outdoors, so we grow them indoors, and we're really proud of that. We have a very strong following, Village Farms in Texas. We also have large production in Vancouver, Canada as well, Ontario, Canada. Hopefully there'll be more to come.
All right. So moving ahead from what you can tell me, what are some of the goals, objectives, milestones for the business going forward?
Well, we want to continue to increase our market share. There's been a consolidation in the food chain industry, and we need to follow that consolidation so we make sure our customers are always receiving product. We produce 365 days a year. The other thing is we continue to look at varieties. We have a number of exclusive varieties, and we're investing in unique varieties to introduce constantly changing products. And beyond peppers, cucumbers, and tomatoes, we're looking at a whole array of other products that can be produced in controlled environments. And some of that is very exciting for the future, so stand by on that.
Okay, so Mike, before I get your website, I got to know, are you guys using proprietary technology to produce your vegetables?
Well, yeah, there's technology out there, but we're pretty proud. As I mentioned, we're vertically integrated. In 2006, we embarked on a mission to create new technology where we can actually reproduce the best environment inside the controlled environment. And after millions of dollars of research and development in years, we did our first commercial scale-up in 2012. It was a $45 million investment for our initial 30-acre footprint. And it's with our own technology that we create the environment inside. And to give you an example, this greenhouse is located in the Permian Basin. We have temperatures to 117 degrees in the summer. Last year, 90 consecutive days over 100, yet inside we're growing year-round. It's like an oasis, and that technology is advanced. And I look at our company as a technology company as well as a consumer products company and an agriculture company. So thanks for asking that question. We're very proud of that technology.
So where can our audience go and find more information?
Go to our website, villagefarms.com. You can Google us. We're publicly traded. All the information's on our website. That's where you can find it. Okay.
My name's Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNN Live, and we're here at the 2016 Markham Microcap Conference in New York City. With me again has been Mike DiGilio from Village Farms International. Two symbols again, VFF on the TSX and VFFIF on the OTCQX. Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.